Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. in the dead of night. The world is asleep, but the headlines are about to explode. A man jumps the fence at NFL star Travis Kelce's mansion. Not to steal, not to harm, but allegedly to serve subpoena papers to none other than Taylor Swift. Yes, you heard me right. A process server at 2 o'clock in the morning in the backyard of Travis Kelce's home. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen people get served before. I've been served before. And all those moments, no one ever came banging at my door under the cover of darkness. This isn't how it's supposed to work. So already, the story doesn't add up. And yet, this is what people are talking about. But as crazy as the scene sounds, it's not even the biggest storm brewing around Taylor Travis and the people connected to them. No, the bigger explosion lies in the courtroom, a legal war pulling in Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and a brand new California law that has never been tested before. And the outcome? It could change everything about how celebrities, victims, and courts handle sexual harassment and defamation cases. Buckle up, because this story is not just about Hollywood drama. It's about law, power, reputation, and emotional toll of being trapped in a fight that feels like it has no end. Let's rewind for a moment. While Taylor and Travis are dealing with this strange subpoena story, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are fighting one of the most confusing and messy legal battles we've seen in a long time. Blake has accused Justin of serious misconduct. Justin, on the other hand, has been fighting back, saying these are baseless allegations meant to destroy him. And right at the center of this battle is California Civil Code Section 47.1, a law that only came into effect on January 1st, 2024. This law was written to protect victims who step forward with sexual harassment or discrimination claims. It gives them a kind of legal shield so they won't be silenced by defamation lawsuits. But here's the catch: this law has never been tested in court. Not in California. Not anywhere. And now, it's being dragged into a federal courtroom in New York. So the question becomes, can a judge in New York even decide how this California law should work? Or is this just another PR move? A distraction? Another layer of mud being thrown in an already toxic fight? Now, I know legal talk can be confusing, so let me break it down the way I'd explain it to a friend. Section 47.1 basically says this. If someone speaks out about sexual harassment or discrimination, and they do it in good faith, meaning they genuinely believe what they're saying and aren't acting out of malice, then they shouldn't be destroyed by a defamation lawsuit. It's meant to give victims courage, to make sure the fear of being sued doesn't stop them from coming forward. Sounds fair, right? But here's where it gets complicated. Blake is trying to use this law to hit Justin with sanctions and penalties. Her team is asking for damages, attorney fees, and more. Justin's lawyers are pushing back hard. They're saying, hold on, this law is brand new. It's never been tested in court. It was written for California cases, not New York. And most importantly, there hasn't even been a trial yet. So how can you punish Justin before a jury even decides what's true and what's not? That's their argument. And honestly, it makes sense. If you've never watched a lawsuit closely, let me tell you something. The courtroom can become a battlefield of paperwork. Every side files motions, oppositions, sanctions, appeals. It's like throwing grenades made of legal jargon. Blake has already tried to hit Justin with sanctions 3 times. This is not the first. And Justin's team is saying, enough is enough. These motions aren't about justice. They're about distraction. They're about painting him as guilty in the public eye before the court ever makes a ruling. And you know what? That's the part that scares me the most. Because the truth is, in the court of public opinion, sometimes perception matters more than reality. Now here's where it gets even messier. Blake has already deposed several people, including Danny Greenberg, a powerful Hollywood agent, and her own longtime makeup artist Vivian Baker. But here's the twist: those depositions are sealed. That means no one outside the courtroom knows what was said, what evidence, if any, Blake actually has, or whether those testimonies truly support her claims. And yet, even with everything hidden away, she's pushing the court to punish Justin anyway. Now pause for a moment and imagine being in Justin's shoes. You're fighting not only for your reputation, but also for your career, your livelihood, and quite frankly, your sanity. And on the other side, the person suing you is allowed to hint at secret testimony, wave it around like a sword, and demand sanctions before a single word of it has been shown to the public. That's not just a legal battle, that's psychological warfare. And make no mistake, this is about more than paperwork and hearings. Court battles at this level take something from you. They strip away your sense of control. They drain your joy. They leave you second-guessing everything. I can tell you from my own experience, I've been sued before, and I've gone up against powerful people who seemed untouchable. It is exhausting. You walk into court and feel like the entire system is tilted against you. You go home and wonder if it will ever end. You cry, you worry, you feel powerless. And when I look at Justin's situation now, I don't just see a Hollywood headline. I see a human being caught in a storm that feels endless. That's why this fight matters. Because if Blake succeeds in using Section 47.1 the way she wants, it won't just affect Justin. It could set a dangerous precedent. It could give celebrities a brand new legal weapon, a way to flip laws designed to protect victims into tools for silencing or punishing opponents. That's a terrifying thought. These laws were written for a purpose: to give survivors, especially women, the courage to come forward without fear of retaliation. They were not designed to be used as PR strategies in celebrity feuds. Think about it. If courts allow this interpretation to stand, what happens next? Every time there's a feud in Hollywood, every time one star wants to shut another down, they could lean on this tactic. Instead of protecting the vulnerable, the law could become a hammer in the hands of the powerful. And if that happens, the very people it was meant to safeguard could be left even more afraid to speak up. That's why Justin's lawyers are urging caution. Their message to the judge is simple: don't let New York be the testing ground for this. Let California, the state that actually passed a law, decide how it should be applied first. Otherwise, you risk setting a national precedent based on a single celebrity feud, and that's a recipe for chaos. But here's the thing: no matter what happens inside the courtroom, the real battle might already be happening outside it, on social media, in news outlets, on platforms like this one, where millions of people form their opinions long before a jury ever hears the facts. Every new filing, every supposed leak, every carefully timed headline paints a picture. And for a potential jury, perception often speaks louder than evidence. That's why this story feels bigger than gossip. Because we're not just watching lawyers argue over motions. We're watching two powerful narratives collide. On one side, there's Blake, positioning herself as someone with explosive testimony hidden just out of reach. On the other, there's Justin, trying desperately to keep the court focused on fairness, procedure, and the actual law. It's a duel, but not just in court, it's a duel for the court of public opinion. And then you throw in the bizarre subplot, that strange midnight incident involving Travis Kelce's house, Taylor Swift, and a suspicious process server supposedly trying to deliver a subpoena. That detail alone sounds like it was ripped straight out of a Netflix drama. And yet, it's being reported as part of this case. Whether it happened exactly as described or not almost doesn't matter, because the story itself spreads like wildfire. It sticks in people's minds, shaping how they see everything else. When you add it all together, it's messy, it's emotional, and it's far from over. And that's why we need to pause and remind ourselves of something very important. These are just allegations. Nothing has been proven. Not against Justin. Not against Blake. All we have right now are competing stories designed to persuade, distract, and sway. Stories designed to win in the court of public opinion before the court of law even has a chance to weigh in. And isn't that the bigger lesson here? In our culture today, the first battle is rarely fought in the courtroom. It's fought online. It's fought in headlines and YouTube videos, in Twitter threads and Instagram posts. And once the public forms an opinion, it's nearly impossible to reverse it. That's the reality Justin is facing right now. Even if he eventually wins in court, the damage to his name might already be done. But the same is true for Blake. If she overplays her hand, if people come to believe that her motions are less about truth and more about PR, then the public could turn on her too. Because at the end of the day, audiences are smart. We know when something feels authentic and when it feels like theater. So what happens next? Well, the legal process will continue. More filings, more hearings, maybe even more strange late-night stories. But the bigger question is how we, the public, choose to respond. Do we let ourselves get swept up in every headline, or do we step back and remind ourselves that we don't yet know the full truth? That's why I want to hear from you. Do you think this California law should really be applied in New York? Do you believe Blake's motions are genuine legal strategies, or are they just publicity tactics dressed up as law? And what about that wild Taylor and Travis subpoena story? Do you honestly think it went down the way it's being told? Or is it just another distraction, another shiny object in a case that already has enough twists and turns? Drop your thoughts in the comment below, because I know this community has some sharp perspectives. And if you found this breakdown valuable, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to Star Celebrities, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Trust me, this storm is only just beginning. And if history has taught us anything, it's that the biggest surprises are always still ahead.